Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to another edition of Carolina Panthers Talk, brought to you by Blitzball Champ Gaming. I'm your host, Blitzball Champ Jason Ingram, coming at you here on the U to the Tube. So I just wanted to take this time to talk about a couple of things. Got quite a bit going on in the search for coaching staff, such as offensive coordinator, special teams, as well. And I just wanted to discuss what I feel are some of the main goals, or what should be the main goals for this offseason in order for Carolina to at least have somewhat of a chance on having a better season next year. So kind of wanted to dig into some things, and I would love to get everybody's feedback on what they think. But first off, so looking at coaching staff. So what we do know, we're going to need new offensive coordinator. We're going to need an offensive line coach. We're going to need a defensive line coach. And we're going to need a special teams coach or coordinator. So those are at least 4 vacancies that the Carolina Panthers are looking to fill. Now, we know so far that special teams coordinator for the Chicago Bears, Chris Tabor, is getting interviewed. Taking a look at him. He's been the special teams coordinator with the Bears, the Browns. He's been an assistant special teams coach as well in his pro career. And, looking back in Cleveland, the Browns were the only NFL team to have at least earn one AFC Special Teams Player of the Week award each season from 2011 to 2016, which he was special teams coordinator from 2011 to 2017 for the Cleveland Browns. So they won 7 AFC Special Teams Player of the Week awards. But it looks like he's had some success there. And of course, we did have Chase Blackburn before. So interviewing him, also Tom McMahon, who was the Denver Broncos special team coordinator. Actually has a lot more experience. He's been special teams coordinator for the Rams, the Chiefs, the Colts, and the Broncos. He's been an assistant special teams coordinator for the Falcons. So he's got a lot of experience. Definitely has a lot of experience there. But yeah, 52 years old, and I believe Chris Tabor is 51 years old. And then one of the latest is apparently Carolina Panthers will be interviewing Ben McAdoo for the offensive coordinator position. Ben McAdoo, 44 years old, was currently a consultant for the Dallas Cowboys. He has been a head coach. He's coached the Giants for 2 years. Or from 2016 to 2017, that is. He's been an offensive coordinator with the Giants as well. And he's been a quarterbacks coach, tight ends coach, offensive line coach. So he's been kind of bounced around in a couple of different areas. Now, he has a head coaching record of 13-16 in the NFL. And he does hold a Super Bowl championship with the Green Bay Packers when he was a tight ends coach. because remember they won the Super Bowl in 2010. So he was a tight ends coach at the time. Now, I know that this is a name that, from what I've heard, not a lot of people are a fan of. He's not my first choice. Definitely not my first choice. It's Ben McAdoo. But something I do want to point out. Because, I'm not looking at the Super Bowl championship. Because, like I said, he was a tight ends coach for the Packers during that. So, not going to go so heavy on that. But, looking at his time as offensive coordinator with the Giants. Of course, he was under Tom Coughlin at the time. 2014, 2015. So, in the first season, as offensive coordinator with the Giants, they were coming off a ranked 28th highest scoring offense in 2013. But in 2014, Ben McAdoo's offensive coordinator debut in the NFL, they improved from ranked 28th to ranked 13th in total offense and highest scoring offense. That's a pretty big leap. That's a big leap. And then the following year, they became the 6th highest scoring offense. So, not to mention they were dealing with injuries because they lost of injuries like Will Beatty and Victor Cruz for the season. So, I know that was many years ago, but it's something to note. Because when you think about it, that is the last time that he's been an offensive coordinator. Because remember, he not only was offensive coordinator for the Giants, he was also head coach, and then he was a quarterbacks coach for the Jacksonville Jaguars, and now a consultant for the Dallas Cowboys. So, I'm not saying he's my ideal pick for this position, but those are positives that I just have to note. That when he was an offensive coordinator for the Giants, their offense improved in both of those years. And then, of course, that third year he became head coach. But the offense did improve each one of those years under him being offensive coordinator. So just something to think about. Something to think about with this Ben McAdoo. But like I said, he's not somebody that, is at the top of my list. But it's something to make note of. It's something to make note of. So we'll see how that goes. We'll see how that goes. But it's really looking more likely that we're probably not going to have a big name offensive coordinator getting hired. But we'll see. We'll see. But we still have those 4 vacancies to fill. Offensive coordinator, offensive line, defensive line, and special teams. Because like I said, it's official. We are keeping Matt Rule. As much as we hate this to hear that, we're keeping Matt Rule for another season. But I want to mainly talk about the main objectives that are the most important to really address this offseason. So, and I'll just name each of these in no particular order. But, of course, number 1 being coaching staff. As I mentioned, those 4 vacancies. But offensive coordinator is going to really be a big deal. We have to hit a home run with offensive coordinator. Because when you think about it, we have to look at how we finished with the offense. We finished 30th in the league in total offense, y'all. And not only that, just many, many other numbers in the low in the NFL this season. So we really have to address that. 30th in total offense. We finished 2 spots from the last in total offense this season. Whether it's a big name or a no name, we have to hit a home run with the offensive coordinator hire. Otherwise, I just don't see that getting any better. And I think we really need to really hit it hard with this offensive coordinator hire. I mean, if we got to take our sweet time, let's take our sweet time. We need to be thorough in this offensive coordinator search. It's a big deal. We got to be thorough in this offensive coordinator search. So, and it's not to say that the O-line, defensive line, and special teams aren't important, but offensive coordinator right now is the most important hire in this coaching staff. So we got to really address that and hit a home run if we want any chance of this offense improving. Because looking back this season, the offense was pretty much a near disaster, if not a disaster. And I think showing it how we finished in total offense, 30th in the league, I rest my case. Another main objective when it comes to the offensive line. We definitely have to hit a home run on retooling and boosting the crap out of this O-line. And I think it's got to be a combination of free agency and the draft. And we should have a lot of options. And, when we look at free agency, a couple of names, to maybe think about. Brandon Sheriff, maybe Cam Robinson, maybe even bringing back an Andrew Norwell, if possible. That, and we got, a big draft class for offensive linemen in the draft. And, and being able to address some of that O-line and free agency, then that gives this team some options to, still get some folks in the draft for O-line, but it gives them a little more options on being a little bit more flexible with trading back. You know what I mean? So that's why I feel that it's necessary that we got to address the O-line in both free agency and in the draft. I think it's got to be a combination. It has to be a combination. So very, very important. Another objective is, well, I guess this kind of goes in line with the offensive coordinator. The play calling is going to be a big thing because I think being able to have an offensive coordinator that'll be able to do things like, for example, call plays that really go to the strengths of this team, calling plays that get the tight ends, that's right, get the tight ends a lot more involved. Because one thing I do want to note with the tight ends, let me see. Where is it at? Tight ends. Between, what's his face? Between Tommy Tremble and Ian Thomas, the tight end position did not get a lot of love this season. We didn't get a lot of love this season. As a matter of fact, with a combination of Ian Thomas and Tommy Tremble, they only combined for 38 catches, 368 yards on 65 total targets. That's not going to cut it. That's not going to cut it. I mean, I know a lot of folks, want to be hard on Ian Thomas and such, but we have to also think. I mean, I feel like ever since Greg Olson, left us, we haven't really had a lot of success with the tight end position. And I think it's a combination of personnel and just lack of execution with the play calling. And like I said, we did see some flashes from both Trimble and Ian Thomas. We did have Dan Arnold, but we traded him away. So I really feel like we need to be a lot more serious about accounting for the tight ends and how we run this offense next season. We got to get them more involved. That's a must. Also, we got to get back to running the ball. We need a offensive coordinator that's really going to emphasize running the ball, and with a combination of offensive line and really having a solid running back, whether it's a combo or whether it's particular running back like a power back or whatnot. That's what we need. Now, I will say this, and I've said this before. I I'm pleased with Juba Hubbard, and I feel like he has an opportunity to improve. Like I said, if he can fix his hands for catching, clean up some of the fumbles, I think Juba Hubbard could be good. I think he could be good to be a solid starting running back. But I think having a 1-2 combination with him, whether we decide to bring back Amir Abdullah or not, I think a nice 1-2 combination with Juba Hubbard, I think can definitely work. Not only that, I would love an offensive coordinator that would be willing to say, hey, let's work Christian McCaffrey at the slot. Who knows? Maybe he could be our Cooper Kupp. Why not? I mean, shoot, look at the season he's had. He almost hit 2,000 yards receiving for the season. Like, why can't we make Christian McCaffrey that? Have him run a lot of plays from the slot. I'm not saying that he can't occasionally get a handoff, like maybe on a sweep or up the middle. But shoot, how about we use him more in the slot? I mean, Christian McCaffrey has the hands. He has the catches to prove it. I mean, dude went through a season with 1,000. I mean, that's plenty of proof that he has the hands and that he can get the yardage in the air and on the ground, or, receiving and running. So I think that's a big deal, especially since they've already made the announcement that they have no intentions of trading Christian McCaffrey, which I totally understand because that's too big of a dead cap hit if we do trade him. But this will be a big opportunity to put Christian McCaffrey in a much better position where he won't get hurt, where he won't get hit as much as he usually is, where he won't have to account for 90% of the offense. I think that's something they need to seriously consider changing and altering. Otherwise, Christian McCaffrey's going to have a very short career before we know it. Very short career before we know it. I mean, it's already pointing in that direction right now, but we have a chance to fix that. And I think having the type of offensive coordinator that's flexible, I think it's going to play a big role, whether it's a big name or not. It's all about executing to the strengths of your players. And like I said, with offense, O-line, tight ends, run game. Because receivers, I'm not too worried about. I'm not too worried about receivers. Another big important thing, because like I said, it looks like for sure, whether we like it or not, we're going to have to deal with the idea that Sam Darnold is going to be our starting quarterback. Barring anything crazy happening, Sam Darnold's our guy. I know we don't want him to be our guy, but he's going to be our guy. So the only thing that we can do is, despite what he brings to the table, the organization's gonna have to try their best to try to make things a little bit more easier for him. And the only way that I could see that happening is really addressing the O-line, the offensive coordinator. I think that's really important. And then after that, if Sam Darnold still can't really contribute, then I mean, it is what it is. He's a bust. It's even more plain and sure now. But we know we're bringing back PJ Walker, and we know we have Sam Darnold for another year because of the 5th-year option. So we might as well just go ahead and prepare mentally for that, y'all. But the best we can do is try to make things better for him by addressing, the other areas of the offense, the O-line, tight ends, the play calling. Very, very key. Very key. Another objective, free agents. Now, there are 4 in particular that I would love for us to bring back, for sure. Despite the difficulties, but 4 players that come to mind that I feel we have to really consider what it would take to bring back. Stephon Gilmore, Hassan Reddick, Frankie Louvu, Zane Gonzalez. But yeah, those are 4 players that I feel we have to really consider bringing back. Now, whether they're able to really get that done remains to be seen. It's going to be difficult, but I just feel like with the impact that they've made overall, especially when we were having kicker problems until Zane Gonzalez, we got him. Then kicking really hasn't been an issue since we got Zane Gonzalez. When you think about it, kicking hadn't really been an issue since we got him. Frankie Louvu made a huge impact, was one of the few players that got all-pro votes. Hassan Reddick, finished the season with 11 sacks. Need I say more? Stephon Gilmore, the dude made an immediate impact like he's known for coming to our team, and he brings so much veteran leadership to that secondary. Not to mention he wants to stay here. He's from the Carolinas. So I think they should really, really give him a listen and see, and hopefully they can negotiate something, because I really feel like that'll be big for us to bring back. The only other person that I could think of to consider, mainly just for depth, would be Marquise Haynes Sr. Has plenty of experience with this team, has been a rotational player on the D-line. I would consider keeping him as well. So that's 5. That's 5. So Stephon Gilmore, Frankie Louvu, Zane Gonzalez, Hassan Reddick, Marquise Marquise Hayden Senior. Those five I would probably put the most initiative at bringing back. Because the thing is, I feel like Jermaine Carter, he can be replaced. Amir Abdullah, while I like him, I feel like he can be replaced. Justin Burris can definitely be replaced. Dante, as much as I would hate to see him go, that might be a sacrifice that the team has to make. And the word is that they're not opposed to the idea of bringing him back if the deal is right. Cam Newton, as much as I would be willing to give him a full offseason, I don't think they're willing to give him a full offseason and take a shot on him. I think unfortunately this is the last that we've seen of Cam Newton in a Carolina Panther uniform. But yeah, those five players I feel should be, ones to at least consider bringing back. Like, by default, consider bringing back. Another objective for defense. 2 main areas on defense. Actually, 3. 3 main areas on defense. D-line, mostly interior. Middle linebacker. And safety. I think we need, in some way, shape, or form, whether it's through the draft or through free agency, I think those are 3 areas we got to address. I think overall we did well on pass rush. Not super duper incredibly, top 10. I think we were like top 15 or something like that. We did, the fact of the matter is, we did a lot better in the pass rush than we did at run stopping. We started off stopping the run well early in the season, and then we just fell apart. I think that Cowboys game was what started the downfall. I think that was what started the downfall when it came to stopping the run for this defense. So we need to really emphasize on packing up or addressing the D-line to help bolster stopping the run. I think that's very key. I'm not really too worried about edge rushing. That is, if we keep both Hassan Reddick and Brian Burns. I'm not too concerned with edge rushing. And then we have to remember, we'll still have a Morgan Fox. We'll still have a YGM. You know what I mean? But I think interior is where we got to really hit hard on. And then middle linebacker. I mean, we had one, but we let him go. And Denzel Perryman, and look what happened. Not only is he going to the Pro Bowl, but he went to the playoffs with the Raiders. So we need to really address the middle linebacker position. And then safety, we need another safety that can really play alongside Jeremy Chin. That's really going to contribute. So I feel like we addressed those three areas on the defense. And like I said, I don't think there's a whole lot that we'll need to fix on defense. Because even despite how things may look, they still had us ranked second at the end of the season in defense. As hard as it may be to believe, that's what they have us listed at. So, I mean, we finished the season ranking second in total defense. So we've patched up these couple of things on defense, and I think we'll be fine. And then another thing got to look at got to look at the draft. So, Tankathon did update correctly for me. I know it didn't have the right stuff down when I did my the previous video I did, but it's updated now. So, the only picks that we do have for this upcoming 2022 draft, we have a first round pick, we have a fourth round pick, we have a fifth round pick, and we have a sixth round pick and a seventh round pick. So the only picks that we don't have currently are a second and a third. Now, I really feel that it is key that we may want to consider trading to see if we can get a second or a third round pick, or both. Now, I know there's a lot of people, that have mixed feelings about the idea of getting a quarterback in the draft, but I mean, there is that chance that maybe we may be able to get one in the later rounds. I don't know. But like I said, for me personally, quarterback's not the highest on my priority list. Not over offensive line. But still, I mean, when you think about it, I don't think anybody would want to roll with Sam Darnold. So I totally get it. But at the same time, because we picked up Sam Darnold's fifth-year option, I mean, we're going to have to pay him anyway. But I think one of the things that they really want to consider is try to see if we can get a second and third round pick. Because we don't have a second and a third round pick. So those are some things that I really feel, those are some goals that I feel are the most important in order for us to have any chance of bouncing back and at least getting more than 5 wins. At least more than 5 wins. But like I said, this offseason is going to be really, really interesting. It's going to be very interesting. But if you were to ask me, I feel like those should be the main goals in order for us to at least have a better season than these last 2 seasons. So just to recap, coaching staff. Offensive coordinator is going to be a huge deal. The biggest deal out of these coaching staff vacancies, which, like I said, we got offensive coordinator, offensive line coach, defensive line coach, special teams. So out of those 4, offensive coordinator, we have to hit a home run with. Whether we get a no name or not, we really need to land somebody that will know how to get this offense back on track with the run game, know how to work the offensive line, the play calling, put Christian McCaffrey in the slot, and really call plays to the strengths of the players on the team. Because remember, we ended this season with a 30th ranked total offense. That's not going to cut it. So, coaching staff with a big focus on offensive coordinator. Second, offensive line. Really, really repairing and boosting the crap out of the offensive line is key. And then also want to throw in tight ends. Tight end usage, I think, is going to really be a big thing that we need to throw in there. Tight end usage. On defense, addressing the interior D-line with hopes of being able to patch up stopping the run. something that we were very weak at, and hopefully maintain the same pressure on the pass rush, because some of that pressure died off near the end of the season. Need a middle linebacker and need a safety. Whether we can address that in the draft or free agency, we need those roles filled. Free agency. 5 players I would suggest to, really consider: Stephon Gilmore, Hassan Reddick, Dan Gonzalez, Marquise Haynes Sr., and Frankie Louvu. And then the draft. Being able to use our picks and hopefully being able to consider trading back so that we can get a 2nd and a 3rd round pick. I feel like if we can knock out each of those goals between now and that first game of the season, I think we can at least get back on track in some form of fashion to the point where we won't have another 5-win or less season, despite the Sam Darnolds, despite the Matt Rules, despite David Tepper, and, fill in the blank for more. Because the fact of the matter is, regardless of how much we want Matt Rule gone, I know a lot want David Tepper gone, a lot want Christian McCaffrey gone, and many others, Sam Darnold. We're just going to have to face facts that we're going to end up having those folks. Barring anything crazy happening, we're going to have those folks on this team going into next season, and we're going to have to deal with it. We're going to have to be able to deal with it and adjust to it. Just saying. But anyway, that's it for this video. Let me know what y'all's thoughts are. What are y'all's thoughts on the coaching staff candidates that were talked about? What do you think about Ben McAdoo, Chris Tabor, Tom McMahon on special teams? What do y'all think about those? And the goals that I discussed for this team. Do you agree with them? Do you disagree? Do you think there should be more or less? Let me know what y'all think. Like, comment, subscribe, hit that notification bell so you can catch every video. Thank you so much for your time. This has been another Carolina Panthers Talk video brought to you by Blitzball Champ Gaming here on the the Tube. Once again, I'm your host, Blitzball Champ Jason Ingram. Hope everybody has a blessed week, and I will see y'all very, very soon. Good night, everybody.